Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Control Command. And today we are talking about 7 client-ready ways to use your KW app and site. And I promise, if you stick with us through this whole video and this class, you will learn something to help you get more clients and convert more clients utilizing the technology we already have built into your KW command system. And this is specific about the websites and your KW app. And that's one of the first things everybody needs to understand a little bit of is your app and your site are the same environment. Okay. So when somebody logs into your app, they can take that same login and go to their computer and log in there. And it's the same account. They're going to be connected to the same searches, the same collections, the same favorited homes, all of that they can mirror from their phone and on their computer. The only difference is the app is built to run on the phone and the site is built to run on a computer or a browser, more specifically. And there are some features that are only available in the app and not on the site, and some features that are only on the site and not in the app. And we're going to be discussing one of those today. But for the most part, about 90% is the same. There's only that little 10% where there's a little bit of a difference between your app and your site. It's more where would they prefer to use it. And getting that app out to people, we're going to show you those links and all of those different pieces to make sure that you can share the right form of this space to get the information you need to with or to the people that need it. And today, a little agenda for today. We're going to go over some things you need to know up front. Simple things like where do you get your website URL? How do you make some basic edits? Where's your app link? Recently actives, and where all of their activities get recorded. So we'll go through a little kind of intro to the agent side of things. Then we'll start talking about how you can use the website tools to attract people to your world. We'll talk about capturing those people once you've attracted them to your page, where those capture opportunities exist. And then we'll discuss the cultivation, what we can use to maintain a relationship with somebody utilizing our app and our websites to bring properties to the people that are interested in them. And then we'll wrap up today with some questions and ahas to really wrap up the class, get any questions answered, and then we will be all done. So, one more reminder, please use the chat when I'm going through some of this material. If you have a question, I don't want you to lose that question. So go ahead and use the Zoom chat so that you can get it in there. And I will be reviewing that chat in between the demos that I'm doing today, because we're going to do a demo for every one of these sections. We're going to be in command and you're going to watch me do some of these things. And so if questions come up, use the chat, or you can wait till the end of the class for the questions and ahas section where you can unmute and be able to ask questions there. And so with that said, we are ready to move into today's class. And we're going to start with this need to know and how to get to your site, the editor, app link, all of that. Let's jump into command and see where all of these different pieces live. And when we go into command, we have our home screen open here. The place we're going to go to start is right down here to the websites applet. And when we click on websites, this page will load up that gives us a good starting point. And I just want to mention, I'm a big fan of KW Answers. This is our article library. There are dozens and dozens of articles about your website and how to make changes on it and how to do some of the back end pieces. And just click this Browse KW Answers for any of those, or you can always reach out to me for a one-on-one if you're in one of my market centers. Now, you're going to want to start in this place right here. If this is the first time you're ever coming into your site, it is set up, but you may want to just click on Manage Settings to make sure things are what you want them to be, from your phone numbers on the site, your website address that is displayed on the site. This is not setting my address, it is just what is displayed. Your Market Center logo, this information should be populated itself. And you can see down the left side here, there are multiple categories for you to go through and be able to make sure everything looks the way you want it to. A couple that I just need to go over while we're in here is first is your subdomain. If you come to this last option, you'll see where your subdomain is. You are able to change that to whatever you would like. You're not going to be able to change the .kw.com piece here at the end, But as long as no one else has taken the subdomain you're trying to get, it's all yours. And so, first and foremost, that's where most agents want to make sure it's what they want in there. But then I also want to show you this piece here where it says referral links. And your referral links are important because this is how you share your app with other people. And for most of you, you're not going to see the team referral links like you see on my page. I have those because I'm on a team in Command. And if you're not on a team, you're only going to see this top piece. And this is all you need. And we'll just focus on what this is because if you're on a team, you will also see the referral link for the app URL, and then you'll see your team referral links. And talk to your rainmaker or the leader of your team if you want information about these links. But I want to teach you all about the links right here, the referral link, because this link right here, you will see a different link than I do. It'll still say app.kw.com, but this last piece at the end is what's unique to you. So when you share your app with somebody through that link, you are automatically assigned as their agent in the app. And that is what connects them back to your command so that when they do activities on the site and they log into the site or the app, it is all tracked inside of command. But the important part is you are sharing your app link that is unique to you, and that's where you find it. We went into the the website settings, and we came down to the referrals link section where you can find that link. You'll also find this in Command Mobile. You can access the link in there in the top menu. You can also find a QR code for this app URL on your site. So check this out. I have my site loaded up right here. And if you scroll to the bottom of any page, you're going to see this QR code right here. And you are able to right click and save that image and then use that QR code any place you like if you'd like somebody to scan to sign into your app. And it's already set up to that unique link that I just mentioned so that it connects back to you. So that's an important note to put down. If you're taking notes, you're going to star that and say, get my unique app link. I personally save it to my phone in the text replacement app in an iPhone. I use that to save it and am able to just print that link out anytime I need it. I'd be happy to go through that one-on-one with anybody if they'd like to do this, if they'd like to do so. And so that's our first step. You're going to want to spend some time in here. I'm not going to go through every section. They're all pretty self-explanatory, except for forced registration. So we'll just talk about that real quick. Forced registration is just saying how many properties can somebody view before they sign in. They can be unrestricted, where they can view as many properties on your site or app before signing in. You can limit them to 10 property views, 2 property views, or no property views. This can be changed at any time. I recommend for most agents to put it at 10 property views in most situations. If you don't think that's appropriate for you, please email me with any questions you might have around forced registration. But the rest of it, I trust in you guys to be able to get in here and set these up the way that you want it to. So that is the first piece. Now, if you want to go to your site and just see what it is because you've never been there, well, these 2 buttons right here will help you do that. And we're just on the website applet. And if you click this button, you can see it just launches your site. So it opens up and you see there's the Go Delisio page again. I can also just copy the link by clicking the C button. And now I can take that link and paste it same way. So either one, you can utilize those, but that's how you get to your website right out of the gate. Easy peasy. Now, I want to go through a little bit of the basic editor. And the basic editor just does basic things. We have an expert mode as well. To get to either of them, you're going to click on Manage Website. So we'll click on Manage Website. And now you can see we have a preview of the website over on the right side of the screen with some options on the left side to edit things. If I want to change my homepage, I click on Homepage, and I can change things like the banner, what featured properties are showing up, testimonials, blog articles. They are very basic editing on this piece. You can do some there. You're going to see possibly some other pages that have been created for you in your system, and you can create very simple pages in here. You can see the options are pretty limited with the pre-built pages, but the one I recommend everyone make sure they have on their page is the home valuation page. And it's as easy as selecting the template and then creating the page and it will build it onto your site. And so that one, if you don't have it, build it onto your site. But if you've joined KW in one of my offices in the last, I would say about a year, we've already built it for you. If you joined before then, you may need to build it out yourself by following the steps I just outlined. Now, I personally, y'all, I don't do much editing on the basic editor. What I like to do in here, I think the design studio is the first place you should spend a little time where you're going to choose classic or modern design of which one you'd like. And then when you choose the theme you would like, you'll hit edit theme where you can choose your color palette, your fonts, and your button appearance as pill, rounded, or square. So this will populate across the website when you make these choices. You just have to choose and then hit save changes, and then don't forget to hit the publish button up here in the corner to make those changes active on the live site. And so this little view is a great place to just personalize the website a little bit. And just another note, if you want to get into expert mode and explore in there, there's the expert mode button for you. We are not getting into expert mode today. That is a different class. I'd be happy to sit down with you as well if you're in my market center, and we can do a little one-on-one and strategize around the website and how we can use expert mode to execute that vision. And so in terms of the basic editor, really that's about all that's in here now. We have the add content button. You can only add a blog post. Great way to add a simple blog with a picture, headline, subheadline, and body. Just remember, expert mode, you get more options. And so, little starting place for editing the site, but truly today is not about editing your site. It's about using your site in the way it is right now. But now you know how to get to your site link. You know how to get to your unique app link. You saw some tools in the basic editor. And there is one more piece that I want you to know about before we get into all of these other details. And that actually comes on the home screen. Because when you start utilizing your app and website, people are going to start signing into it and using your app and website. And you need to know how you check that activity. And one of my favorite buttons in Command is this one right here, recently active. This will populate all the people who have been using the app to look at homes, save homes. It'll bring them up to the top of my list in my database so I can look at those people and maybe there will be a surprise. So let's click on recently active and we see Rania. Y'all know Rania if you're in the KWA side of things. Rania just signed into my site yesterday. Here's myself, and my folks are looking for a home right now as well. But let's click on my own name. Number one, when you see this little green check mark, that tells you that that person is signed into your app or to your website. They've created an account on your platform there. And this is how you know you get that little green check mark. Now, when that green check mark is there, anytime I'm logged in as the consumer, you can see every listing I even open, it gives me a record as the agent of of this consumer opening up this listing. I viewed a neighborhood and it shows me that. Other listings that I've viewed. And then when I heart or favorite one of the listings, let me see if I've done that recently. Let's see. I don't heart many homes, y'all. Boy, you know who does? My mom. She loves to heart homes on the site. Oh, she's just been looking though. But you can see all this data I get. And I love this amount of data that tells me that people are interested, at least in looking at homes. And that is a flag for me to say, I better reach out to these people when I start seeing them looking through my app. And that is one of the best tools here inside of Command, is just utilizing that first button, recently active, and then understanding that all of their activity is going to be saved in their timeline, which is right here in the contact card, where you will get that summary of their timeline. Okay. And so that is all I had for the need to know section. I did see the chat had a couple of comments in there. And so Libby asks, so that QR code leads directly to my personal app, not just the general one without me doing anything special. Correct. The one at the bottom of the web page, I just see the KWR app link as the link in the QR code directs to. It should be directing to your personal link. Libby, if it's not, then we need to talk. So let's get that figured out together offline. All right. See, cool. Cool, cool, cool. Let's get on to the next piece. Attract. This is one of the most powerful pieces of the website for agents who are using social media. This is how you get people off social media and onto your website is creating these attraction type pages. And when I say create, you're not creating the pages yourself. You are using the tools already built into the site to be able to share properties, neighborhoods, or a search. Okay. And if that's not clear what that means, I think it'll clear things up when I go through the demo. So we're going to start with the property page. And this is just going to be all on my website that I'm going to show you. That you're going to do this as an agent on your site. You just go to your site and let's get ourselves a property page. So you could come in and start typing the address you're looking for and seeing if that is a property that pops up. Just remember Elmira Street, Aurora, Colorado. What populates down here? It could populate properties that are sold. So just be careful with which one you choose when you're in here. I'm going to put places. Oh, not places, all. Um, and we can, if there is a property that is listed, then it will show up in here and you can find it that way. Personally, what I'll usually do is just go to search properties and then go find the property I'm looking for on the map, if that's easiest, but you just need to get to the property. And let's say we want to share 965 Alkire Street, Golden, Colorado. This is not a listing in our offices. This is the listing provided by a different agent. But let's say you're holding an open house for this agent and you want to share this property on your Facebook page to tell people to check out the home you're holding open. Well, this page is already built for you. This could be your listing, and this page is already built for you. Every listing in our MLS that comes in, this whole page will be built out. And I'm just going to scroll through some of the value that is tucked into this page because the only place you're going to see this other agent's information is right up here, and that is by law. We have to put that information in. But everywhere else, they're going to see my information, my name, contact Steven, request a tour, comes to me. Right? All of those capture buttons right in here come back to me inside of Command. And so as we scroll through, we get our property details that you can go through, the history of its activity, 6 views, 0 saves, estimated monthly payment options for the mortgage calculator that's built in. We have tax and price history. We have neighborhood information, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Market snapshot, nearby schools, transit. Here's another one that I love, y'all. When people sign into your site, they can add 3 addresses to their places here, like what I always tell my clients, add work, add the kids' school, add your spouse's work. Because then every listing that they look at on your site or app, this section will already have those 3 addresses listed here, giving them the drive time, bike time, and walk time from those addresses to the listing they're looking at. Such a cool way to expand people's minds around where they might want to look when it's dependent on their commute or driving their kid to school. This will give them a great idea of how much time that might take from the property they're looking at. And of course, we have some similar properties in here and then a full map of properties around there. And I'm showing this all to y'all because this is what you want to share when you want to share your listing with other people. You're going to just come up here and copy the link up here at the top, copy, and then you're going to paste it to wherever you want it to be. And that might be on social media. You might build an email to send through command that links to your property just with this same exact link. You might build it into a text message so that you can text message it to people and they can click the link there. There are so many options to get this listing or any listing in front of other people, just knowing how to get to this property page that you don't have to do much work for. Now, there are ways in that expert mode I mentioned to build your own property pages if you wanted to build something out that brings more information than what we've seen on the standard listing page. You can go create your own landing page and really promote the property and bring in things that aren't coming in from the MLS. That's really the marker there. Is there information you want to put in that you didn't put into the MLS? That's when you create your own custom landing page. Otherwise, I suggest using the page that's already built. And Let's talk about neighborhoods now. In the same way we can do this for listings, we can jump down to the neighborhood section of any listing and click this Go to Neighborhood button. And this is a page dedicated to that neighborhood. And right now we're looking at Daniel's Garden. And you'll get a little map over here, and we get a bunch of great information about the neighborhood from market stats, snapshots, recently sold, properties in the area, nearby schools, transit. And then we have all the nearby neighborhoods that are surrounding it and in that area. And so this is another great page that you can share out on social media. You don't have to you don't have to create these neighborhood pages. You can utilize them just the way they are. And this is every neighborhood we have saved inside of the command system and the KW system. We are able to display these neighborhoods for. And these neighborhoods come from nextdoor.com. They are named by the residents and the boundaries are set by the residents. So if you're looking at this and you're saying, well, I used to live there and we never called it Daniel's Garden. Well, sometimes the names don't align with what we expect or the subdivision name. It doesn't always align. So just be aware of that. Most of these neighborhoods are very hyper local. When you go into a different one, let's click into Ridgemore, you can see sometimes they are pretty small little neighborhoods. And that sometimes will mean that not a lot of data is showing up for that neighborhood because there's not data to display. So just be aware of that. But this is how you can start positioning yourself as an expert in an area. When you are bringing information like this forward, I wouldn't just choose any neighborhood in here. I would choose the neighborhoods you're focused on, the neighborhood you're running an open house in, the neighborhood that you're farming, the neighborhood you live in. Those would be the ones I would focus on, not just any neighborhood, but this gives you a ton of content that you can use in stories, you can use in Facebook posts, Instagram. All of these are available for us to promote this page to our people that are interested in moving into one of these areas. I think there's a lot of juice in here, y'all, for any agents that are doing any kind of relocation business with other agents outside the state, giving them more information about neighborhoods because people moving into Colorado don't always understand the neighborhood dynamics that we have, especially if they're coming from the East Coast. It's very different over there. And this will help them understand what it's like here in Colorado. And so another great opportunity for y'all to share your expertise with these neighborhoods. I got a quick question from Libby that said, where do they add their home, work, school? So when they log in, Libby, let's see if I can log in quickly. Hopefully my password is saved. Let's see. Oh, that's not the right one. Oh, maybe it is. Perfect. So all they do is click in here, go to account settings. Well, they moved it, Libby. That's okay. It's even easier now. They don't have to go into account settings. They just need to go to that place. Let's go back to our listing. And then when they're signed in, they'll come down in here and you can see I've already saved my properties in here, but they'll just get the add location or add property like we saw before, and they'll click there and then they can add those addresses in. And you can see my two market centers and my house are in there. And so I always know how far I am from the downtown market center, the Lakewood market center, or my house from that listing. And so really cool. I like that you guys get this. You can see there's a directions button that pops up as well, sends them right into Google so that they can do the directions from the listing to that address that they're selecting. That's correct, Libby. Every property that they go into now will display this information, whatever property they pick. So if I select another one of these properties, like this one here, you'll see that that will now update in that section for my drive time. I can switch over to bike time or walk time there. So it populates for every listing individually once they have those addresses saved. All right. Now we get to do my favorite one, y'all. We did the property page, we did the neighborhood page. Now I want to show you my favorite way to create a shared search. So this is when I want to put a search out for people to look at multiple properties based on a criteria that I'm going to set. So we're going to go to search properties. And then we're going to set some filters. So we're going to come over here to the filters button, and we are going to filter properties that are under a million, above 500,000. There we go. They can type in here if they'd like to type it. They don't have to use the bar to drag. We're going to do two twos or more, houses and townhomes, and we can adjust any of these other pieces. You can add keywords. Listing status is great. I love the listing type where I can do new construction search. I can do a foreclosure search, short sales. You're not going to get tons of stuff in those, but they are becoming more and more available. And then I love these two filters down here, open houses and price reduced. So you might want to put a post out that says, do you want to see price homes that have had their price reduced in the last week in Lakewood? Well, you just set Lakewood as your area. That will do next. And then you come in here and hit that price reduced option. And so let's show our 6 results. Well, we're not quite in Lakewood, so I'm going to zoom the map out so it includes more of Lakewood. I believe it stops right at 26th and goes over here. So let's zoom out a little bit more because I can come in and actually draw a boundary on the map right here, like you can see. If I don't put a boundary in, y'all, it'll just take whatever screen area that I have available, and that's what it will use for the search. And so now we have our search set up. Oh, let me fix this real quick. There we go. 500. No, it still doesn't want to update. 500 to a million, 2 bed, 2 baths, houses, townhomes, and has price reduction in the last 7 days. My search is set up. Now I want to share this so that anyone who clicks on this link, whether it's now or in a month, it will update with the current properties that have a price reduction in the last 7 days. This is an active link once you do this next step. Because here's the step you got to take to make this search an active link so other people can click on it on social media, in your email, in your text message, wherever you're placing it. People can click on it and it'll populate that live search based on your criteria still the same criteria for the filters, still the same area of the map. It'll just update for the current listings and their price reductions if that's the filter you have on. So here's the step you need to take. It's very simple, y'all. You click into the URL, you copy that URL, open a new tab, paste that URL, and hit enter. And that's it. Now this link is archived in our system to be able to be shared in any place. And when somebody clicks on it, it will show them this same map with the same criteria, this same list of homes. If they click it today, it would be the same list of homes. If they click it in a month, it's going to update to the properties that had price reductions in the last 7 days in here. And so now that's all it takes, y'all, to share a search. And whether it's price reductions or maybe you want to do a post where you change it now to open houses in Lakewood this weekend, and you can see all of these homes are holding an open house at some point. You can hover over and see the open house date in the top left corner of the little image that pops up. Friday 3 to 5. This one down here, we have Saturday 11 to 2. And you could put this link out for people looking to go to open houses. Now, personally, I wouldn't do that link because if people are going to open houses and I don't know who they are, well, there's a good chance they might get scooped up by another agent and I won't have the opportunity to be able to get in touch with them. And so this could be a search you use, not one I would do personally. There are so many other ways to use this with price reductions or just basic searches, price determined searches, bed and baths, areas, so many ways to use this, y'all. One of my favorite things that we can do with our websites to attract people to our site, get people onto our site. Good. Sorry, I didn't mean to stop my share. Just want to make sure the chat was good. All righty. So let's keep going. We just talked about attraction, property page shares, neighborhood shares, and search shares. Now let's talk a little bit about capture. Capture means that we are getting their information into our world. And you see what I have on the screen right now is the standard capture form on your website. You're going to see this on multiple pages already built. It's on your home page. It's on your About Me page. It's on all the property pages they can click in and get to this form. This is how people connect into your command. When someone fills out this form on your website, or if they sign into your app, you will get a notification in command that they have done so. You will get an email that says you have a new lead if they are new. If they're already in your database, you're not going to get an email notification. You will only get a notification in command, and that will show up in the notification bell in command, which is right up here at the top. And let's click on mine, and you can see, oh, let's go to unread. Agent site notification, Stephen has logged in. Agent site notification, Rania has logged in. Agent site notification. So you'll get notified. You only get an email about it when they're a new contact in your system. Okay. And so that is the website form will come in just like that. We can set up management rules that say, well, when somebody comes into my website, I want them tagged with these 3 tags, and I want them to be put on this smart plan. Now, we're not going to get into those details, but I want you all to know that that is a feature in command that you can do to set up some automations. I want you to start with some of the simpler stuff before we get too deep into the weeds around setting up a bunch of stuff before you actually get to utilize it. So start doing the things that I'm teaching you, and then come to one of my more advanced website classes in the future where we get into some of those details. Now, these last two are a little special. Open house sign in and home value capture. We mentioned the home value capture a little bit earlier in the class today, but let's get into some detail around what that looks like. So let's get back over to my website. And first, I want to go talk to you about open house pages. And we'll go back to our Alkire Street listing. And let's go back to the scenario where I'm holding this house open. And in command, we can create an open house sign-in page right from here so that when people sign in to that page at your open house, those people get automatically added into command. And here's all you have to do to create an open house sign-in page. So once again, you go find your listing on your website, just like we did here for the Alkire listing that we're looking at. Then you come up to the URL bar up at the top, and all you have to type in is /open house. No space, no underscore, nothing like that. Just add in that /open house to the end and hit enter, and then give command about 5 to 6 seconds. It does take a little bit longer to load this page the first time every time. But once it's loaded, we now have a link where you saw the link switch now. It's now an open house link that we see up here. And you can utilize this link for the open house where they can come in, first name, last name, email, phone number. They have to check off these boxes. The second one is your TCPA protection box, letting them know that you will be reaching out over telephone, email, text about real estate. These are important to keep your TCPA compliance and security for yourself. One of the reasons I love using this page is for that reason alone. Now, you might want to know, can we change what these inputs are? And the answer is no. We cannot change the form. This is the only information that we can collect, and it is not editable at this time. And that is it for the open house page, y'all. I love to right click if you're a Chrome user, and you can just right click and then choose the create QR code for this page. If you want to create a QR code, you might use Canva to do that as well. That's what I personally do, is use a Canva tool to do it. But this is an easy way to have a QR code, put it on a piece of paper at your open house, and just request people please scan the code and sign in. When they do so, they get put into command. And then they also, just so that you guys can see this, and Steven.Delicio@kw.com, put in my phone number, and submit. And I just want to show y'all what they see. So when they submit their information, they will see this page here if they're on the computer. If you're doing it on a computer, if they're doing it on their phone, they will be driven right to the listing page. Right on your website, they will get to see this same page on their phone and get all of these wonderful details right into their phone after they sign in. So a great way to get your open house people engaged with you when they get there. A couple of questions in the chat. So Jen says, do searches need to be created for specific clients, or can you create a generic search like Homes Under a Million, and share the link to anyone. Jen, with that link share, that's for anyone. You can share that link with anybody on social media. If they're in command, not in command, anybody can click on that link that they see it. They can click on it and then go view that search. So this is a more generic piece. We're going to get into the individual searches by the end of the class, though. So hold that question if you're waiting to see how do we make those individual searches. We'll get there. Pushkar asks, how can we set up a market report for nurturing a seller? That is a different class, Pushkar. Marketing report, I would recommend utilizing either the neighborhood nurture if you don't want to build the report yourself to nurture that seller on their neighborhood they're in. That would be the easy button. We could go through and create a nurture smart plan ourselves or download one from the library. And I know there's some great ones in the library as well, but little outside the scope of this class. And then Tyson says, does it tag them? I'm assuming, Tyson, you're asking when they sign in to the open house sign in, does it tag them? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
So, no, it does not, unless you set it up to do so. Same way I mentioned that management, lead management stuff where we can have a person sign into our website and set up what tags we want to put on them, what smart plans they should be added to. We can do the same thing for our open house sign-in people. We just have to tell command when somebody comes in through the open house sign-in pages, tag them with open house client and whatever else you might want to tag them with. And then you also have the choice to put them on a smart plan as well that will automatically put them onto that smart plan once they enter into command. Pushkar asks, how can we create a QR code for an event so that people register and automatically updates the database? The only way you could do that, Pushkar, is if you used your sign in from your website. So that would be meaning utilizing this piece right here. And out of the gate, there is no page where this is the only thing on the page. You can create a page that would just be that capture form, and you could use it that way. I've also seen agents use their app link. So they share their app link, and when people sign into the app, that is the registration for the event, is signing into the app. But in other terms of utilizing a third-party service, there are ways to set up some automations that if you're using, say, a Google form that goes into a Google Sheet for their answers, we can set up a connection with Zapier or API Nation that will then take those names and information in the spreadsheet and push them into command automatically. So definitely have some options there to create that automation from QR code into command if you're not using the page that we have up here. Kathy Spencer has a question. Do you just copy and paste the link in a new tab for each sign in for the open house? No, for the sign in for the open house, when you're on here, you'll see that there is this, let me close the chat, back to sign in page. So if you're opening this sign in page on your laptop at the open house and say they filled it out just like I did, you would just click back to sign in and then it's ready for the next person to sign in. And you just keep that page active and open on your laptop. I've seen agents do it on a tablet. But if you use the QR code, you don't have to do anything special with that. Everybody can scan that same QR code, but it is unique for that listing. The next open house you do at a different house, you would go back in and do the open house piece at the end of the listing and make a new open house sign in for that specific address. But this one is just for the open house. Everybody who comes in will sign into the same page. Great questions.
Can I ask one more question?
Yes.
So if to use the QR code, could you just print it out on a piece of paper and have them sign it, or what would be the best way? QR?
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
Just I get like one of those little paper holders that kind of displays the piece of paper standing up, and I print the QR code and say scan here, and then I just direct people to scan that piece of paper.
And you create that in the property listing on your website? I didn't quite see where you did it.
You can. So Chrome has a built-in tool where you can just right-click anywhere on the page and, oh, I can't be selecting something, but you can right-click on the page and then click on this create QR code.
Oh,
You do that, QR code gets created. I personally just don't like the cute little dinosaur in there. It's not my brand. So I don't use the Google Chrome one because you can't change it. I use Canva. And there's a few different QR tools in Canva where basically you just click the tool, drop the link in, hit create, and it creates your QR code that you can design anything else around it in Canva or build other things or build that page to be more branded to your brand instead of just a QR code on a blank piece of paper.
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, home value capture. Let's check that out, y'all, because this is a great way to attract sellers. This is something that I think can go on your website, or excuse me, your social media every week. And to find it, you'll go into this more section. If it is built on your page, you'll find it in more. And here you see mine. What is your home value at in today's market? I've changed that name. It doesn't come through as the default like that, but you'll find it right in here. If you don't see it in here, go back to the start of this video and find that place where you can easily create the page on your site. It literally takes like 2 minutes to create, y'all. So it's super easy to do. Let me know if you need any help. But this is my home value page. So you can see there is this capture right here, ready to discover your home value. And then they put in their address. So they put in their address, Elmira Street in Aurora, Colorado. There it finds my home. Then I say, let's go. And then as the consumer, I'm already signed in, so it doesn't ask me to sign in again. If I wasn't signed in, it's going to ask me for my name, phone number, and email address, which will all then that person will be added into command at that point, since they would be a new contact. If they're not a new contact, you still get notified. You're still going to see in command, just like we're going to see here, agent site notification, new open house contact received. Here, let's refresh that. We should see another one as well. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, maybe I didn't submit it yet, and it's send message. Up. All right. Now we should get that, but it will collect their information. And I want to show y'all what you will get. There we go. There's my notification, home value request. I click view contact, and note, it tells me the range that they received as well. So when I hit view contact, I can see that same information in the timeline note that it was just created for me. So you see home valuation request, reported range. There's the address as well. Now it does not set the address, does not take that address and add it to their home address field or anything like that, because we don't know if that's their home address. They could be typing in their uncle's address or something else. This is when we give them a call and start asking some questions. Hey, I saw that you were curious about your home value. Tell me why you're curious. That is a great question to ask when someone does this, is giving them a call, sending them a text, and communicating with them when you see this type of request come in. And once again, you're going to get that notification in command. If you have notifications turned on command mobile, all those notifications ding on your phone as well. But you have to have those notifications turned on through your phone settings and allow that to happen, because they're on by default in command, but you have to allow the app to send notifications, where if you remember signing the first time you downloaded the command app, it always asks you, will you allow notifications? And you should always put yes on the command app. So you can go into your settings and change that if you need to, but just make sure. I ask all agents to have that on, because I know you have your phone in front of you more often than you're sitting in front of your computer in command. And so get those notifications coming in so you don't miss anything. But that's it on the home value page. Great, easy access to capture people's information, more than just name and phone number and email, because now we can get an address, we can get a range that they were given. And to be honest, y'all, I do not care how accurate the range is. I want them to come to me for that information. And so I don't mind if the range is high, low, wide. I'm okay with all that, because I know I'm going to reach out personally and offer them a more accurate analysis. Jen asked in the chat, where does the data pull from for the home valuation? Whose algorithm, RPR? I don't know whose algorithm it is. My assumption, Jen, is it's KW's algorithm, and they're pulling data from the same places that everyone else pulls data from in these situations, the public records. That is where the data comes from. They are pushing it through some type of algorithm. I don't know whose it is. I believe it's KW's, but I don't know exactly where it's coming from, but the data sources are public records. All right. Let's see. Ooh, we need to get moving, y'all. Oh, all right. Last but not least is our cultivate. Cultivate is for people who have engaged with you already. They're already in command. They've already signed into your app, right? Those people, there's two really great tools to utilize once they've signed into these places, the app or the website. And we can set up save searches for people who have not signed in. That we can do. The home equity estimator, they have to sign into your app to get to the home equity estimator. That's one of the features that is only available through the app, not on the site. But let's see save searches before we get into the home equity. So save searches, every contact that you open up in command will always have this save searches tab over to the top right of the screen. You can see I've set up a bunch of save searches for myself that I can see in my app. I can see on my website. When I go in as a consumer, I can see all of these pieces. For instance, we're in here now. I can click on my name and go to the saved section. And here are the collections, which is a little different feature, but here's our saved searches. Western Homestead, these are the two that I created personally as a consumer. And you can see my searches right in here. I think the other one said 9 and 2 because I have like 5 different logins, y'all. So that was just a different login. My bad. It should have said 2, but that's why it was different. It won't be different for you guys when you only have one. I have myself in command, I don't know, 5 or 6 times. And so that's why we saw a little disconnect there. But super, super easy way to set up a saved search. And so let's go through a saved search setup real quick. So you'll always see create a saved search button. We click on that. And first thing you're going to do is set the location. You can search by city, neighborhood, zip code, school attendance zone. And all you have to do if it's city is you type it in, Aurora. And then we can find Aurora, Colorado in the list. Oh man, there's a lot of Auroras. Let me just put in Colorado here. There we go. But most often, we don't really search for properties in these ways. We usually search by an area. I want to live between I-70 and C-470 and between Wadsworth and Kipling. So we can just hit draw on map and then click on the little hand, and then we can draw on the map exactly the area that we want the properties to show up in on their search. Oh, there we go. And apply. Then it's some criteria: price, amenities, property types, listing status, beds, baths, year built, living area, has parking, open houses only, price reduced. Again, I don't really use open houses only in these situations. I will use these other ones occasionally, but once I set up the criteria and the location, we hit next. Now we're going to title the search, New Home Search for Stephen. Remember, this title is customer facing. They will see what you put in here. Every email they get sent, it'll say new updates for, and then it'll list the search title. So make sure that you write this for your consumer facing, so that it is consumer facing. They are going to read this. And so you need to know that because they will see it. Don't set it up just for yourself. They see what the search name is as well. And then I recommend you click on this little toggle switch so that you can set the frequency of emails that will go to them. Instant is every 30 minutes. This is a lot. They will get a lot of notifications if they choose this. Be careful. Daily, weekly, biweekly, and monthly. You can choose all these different options. And remember, this is not for my active clients, y'all. This is not what I'm using for people to find their home when they've hired me as their buyer's agent. This is to get there. This is the process that I use to give them information and keep them engaged in the market they're interested in and looking where they want to go move to. I utilize this tool to be able to send them those properties where I don't have to do it every week or every day or biweekly. I let the system do the work for me. When we get to an appointment and sit down and they hire me, I'm using the MLS as my search still. They still use the app. All my clients still send me the properties through the app, and that's fine with me. But we get more criteria in the searches in the MLS, and that's why I use it once they've hired me. But if they have not hired me, they're just a consumer in my world, then I'm going to put them on a save search until we meet, they sign my agency agreement, then we move into the MLS. All right, got a couple of comments in the chat. If you've done a CMA for a client, oh, can you add your own estimation or value so that the home equity estimator is more accurate on the home? No, you cannot, Jen. Thank you for asking that one. But yeah, no adjustments in there. Again, I recommend being the expert in this situation and leaning on the data and letting them know that this is just a computer generated window of information. And if they want a truly accurate piece of information, I am happy to pull that for them. I'm happy to do the work to get them a market analysis and not just an estimate. And so that's where it's an opportunity for you to engage them and bring that value to them with your expertise. All right. Now let's talk the home equity estimator. And it's hard to display my phone live on here, so I'm not going to do that here today. But I did take a screenshot of where they go in their app. Because once you sign into the app, when they click on their little home button down here, and then they click on the My Home tab, it will default to the buy and rent section, which will have their saved searches, their collections, all those different pieces like we saw when I went to the saved section on my website. Well, it's the same stuff in the buy rent section here. The My Home piece, this is unique to the app. They can add in their home address like you see I've done here. They can then click on the home equity calculator and hit Let's Go, where once they click on Let's Go, it asks them for their current mortgage value that they're paying. It asks them for a couple bits of information about their loan, and then it calculates their home equity for them. And when they scroll down to this bottom piece, they'll see that same estimate. So that market or that window of value that we saw in the home value estimator, once they sign into the app, they can come in and their once their home is saved, they can come in and check that value or that range anytime. It'll always populate in here. And you'll also notice on the app, they also get a rental estimate of what they could rent the property for as well. And so some really cool value pieces to bring value to homeowners outside of the transaction. This is what I mean by cultivating. It's bringing these tools in to show that you are the expert, that you have the value to give to these people while they're thinking about making a decision on who to work with to sell their home. And maybe you're a shoe in and you know you got the listing. I still utilize these things because the customer experience is what's going to drive referrals to your business. The more they feel supported and informed, and this is about information, the more they're going to feel that you're doing a great job and they're going to want to recommend you to their friends and family. And so these little pieces can be the extra icing on the cake that sets you apart from others, is having these kind of tools. And the more you use them and find where they fit into your business, the easier it is to get more people on your site, get more attraction, more captured information from people so that you have the opportunity to have more conversations about real estate. That is the key through all of this. The whole goal through any of this is to capture their information, connect with these people, cultivate them until they are ready to sit down for an appointment and hire me as their agent. This is all about marketing and attracting people in through these tools to help you have more real estate conversations. Let's see, one more question in the chat. If they are in your command already and you send them a link to the app, will you have a duplicate entry? Great question, Libby. The answer to that is no. The answer to that is maybe, to be honest. If you have them in command and they sign into your app with an email that's different than the email you have saved in command, then you will get a duplicate and you'll want to use the merge feature in command to combine those two contacts into one. Now, if they sign in with the same email that you have saved in command, then they'll just get that little green check mark next to their name and it just tells you that they've signed into the site and it all works just the same as before. All right. Hey, Steven, I just noticed that I'm not populating on the neighborhood nurture. I don't know what that means, Ryan, that you're not populating on it. Those are different from a saved search. Saved search is a set criteria and set location that I'm driving properties to them that are coming out on the market. Neighborhood nurtures are based on the neighborhood that they're in, and it just sends them neighborhood stats and then the currently listed properties. All properties in that neighborhood, no criteria. So if there's a commercial building and five condos and two single families, it's going to show them all of that in the neighborhood nurture because it's just about the boundary of the neighborhood. Where the save searches, we can control more of that criteria to say only show single family homes, 3 bed, two bathrooms, 500 to a million.
Yeah, so for me, I see that when I pick up or when I open up my recent active uh contacts and whatnot, they're set up on, a smart plan neighborhood nurture, which allows them to click on properties within that area. But
Correct.
when I look at their activity, their timeline, I see a specific property that they've clicked on. My information's not populating. It's the guys, like this is Brian Bernard that populated
Really?
on, that's like the listing agent. So they're using, do you see what I'm saying? It might
Well,
be
let me,
easier to show you.
I don't see it, but if you're looking at my screen right now, are you clicking this link right here when you see they're viewed and you're clicking this link in their
Yep,
timeline?
yep.
Yeah, so this link does not go to your site. This is just the generic KW site. So I would not use this link right here that I'm clicking in through command to send them anything or do anything with the client themselves. This is for my information only. And if I want to see details of Alkire Street, I'll click on it. I can get them. But like you said, this is unbranded. Connect to the right
Right.
agent.
I
This is an
guess,
unbranded
yeah, I
page. But
understand
they don't
that.
see that. They don't get the option for that link. They don't see this stuff. They get it all on your side of things.
Right. Really? Okay. Okay. So they see something different then.
Well, so for this to show up, right, they
Yeah.
either need to go onto my website,
Well,
be
no, I have
signed.
them. Yeah, I have them set up on a nurture. So they receive this in their email. So
Gotcha.
they, you know what I'm saying? The neighborhood,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So for everybody else, just to kind of fill in the gaps, please excuse my messy inbox real quick, but I'm going to find um, a neighborhood nurture email that has been sent to me. See, this one's pretty new. And, you see this one is sent to me from Miguel Brenna. And what Ryan's talking about on the neighborhood nurtures, this is not a save search, y'all. This is a neighborhood nurture. So it gives them the neighborhood information, then it gives them properties. And Ryan is seeing that they clicked on a property, and you'll see when this opens up, it's coming to Miguel's page. So just
Awesome.
like when you sent your neighborhood nurture and they clicked on your nurture, it's going to your website. But when you're
Okay.
seeing the tracking, you're getting the unbranded link to just
Yeah.
give you the information so that you don't have to go click copy the address, go paste it into your site or go paste it into the MLS. Now we only get the public information on our site. If you do need to see the private remarks and the broker remarks, you got to go to the MLS for that.
Thank you, Stephen, for
You're
clarifying that. That's
you're
awesome.
welcome. All right. So today we went through what you need to know to get started, how to attract people to your website, capture their information, cultivate them once you've done so. And then now, if there are any other lingering questions, now's a great time to bring them up. And I would also love any ahas, anything you learned today, something you needed to hear, a light bulb moment, or even what you're going to plan to do with this information now that you have it. How are you going to use it? So we'll open up the floor. You're free to unmute and ask a question or share an aha.
For me, I think this is awesome, especially that saved search. Well, the saved searches, just because we can set pretty much even our sellers or people that we have in our database, almost everyone in our database should be set up on this. So we're populating in their inbox. Everybody loves looking at real estate, and they're looking at our website versus someone else's. And I think that's pretty exciting.
Oh man, you took the words right out of my heart that I wanted people to get this. Like, if you didn't hear what Ryan just said, everyone in your database should be set up on a save search. Everybody likes to look at homes. This is your opportunity to provide that value. And all it takes, y'all, is calling them, texting them, and asking a simple question. Where do you want to live next? Put them on a search for that. That's all it takes, y'all. Get them onto your app, get them onto your website, either one, but ask that question and then set up the save search and then let the technology do the rest of it. Thank you so much for sharing that, Ryan. Is there anybody else who'd like to share? Oh, we have one in the chat too. Jen says, set yourself up as a lead with a different email and try it in incognito tab to see what they see. Love that. Do some testing up front. I like to set up searches for closed buyers too. That shows them activity in their new neighborhood monthly. Love that. Love the neighborhood nurture for that as well. The save searches is when I want to expand past the neighborhood or if they're interested in a little bit more, or I might even just add in multiple neighborhoods. But this is key. Like these, everybody likes to look at houses, and this is your opportunity to bring that value to them enclosed in your system. All right. Anyone else?
Even have you gotten any feedback on people using the open house sign-in feature on a tablet or a laptop versus just the old school sign in on a card or piece of paper?
Yeah, I get lots of feedback on it, and the biggest thing is the feedback is people have pushback around filling out forms,
Of course.
right? Paper, digital, it seems like everybody's got an issue with it, and that is a problem to solve by practicing your scripts.
Right.
And because for me, if somebody has an issue with my sign in, that's okay. Go talk to your agent and have them schedule a private showing. You're not coming into the open house,
Right.
period.
Right.
And whether it's I personally, I like paper and I would still do open houses on my sign in forms on paper because I don't mind sitting down for 15 minutes after the open house and loading those people into my command manually. I'm fine with that because I like the paper because I make them fill it out on a clipboard. They have to hand it back to me. I can verify the information, make sure I can read it, question them on anything. And that process worked really well for me on paper. And I lose some of that in the digital space of them signing in. It's convenient, but for me, I want effectiveness more than I want convenience in this situation. And for open house leads, do what works for you. If you don't know what works for you, go do 10 open houses and do 5 with the paper, do 5 with the digital, and see which ones work better for you. Because it's mostly that what it comes down to answer your question directly is preference. What works for you? What works for your scripts and ease of getting people to do the thing you need, which is capturing their information, is more important than how you capture it. It just must be captured. So find your preference, find what works for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, Livy said one thing I've mentioned before, not in this class, is the data. When somebody is on Zillow and they're clicking around and they fill out that form, their data is then taken and sold to your competitors, to other agents. It's also taken and sold to other companies that are interested in people's information like this. When people sign into your world on your KW sites, uh, they're yours. That information is yours to do what you'd like with it. We don't see it as a market center. We can't see it as KW International. That's your data, and you choose what to do with it. That is one of the big advantages to our site, like Libby said, is you control the data. Their data isn't going out to all these other companies and being sold to other agents, other companies, like it is when they're on Redfin, when they're on Zillow, when they're on homes.com. All of those platforms are built to sell data. And ours is built to provide value to our clients. You can choose what you'd like to do with that data. Thank you for bringing that up, Libby. Any other questions or
Hey,
ahas to
hey,
share?
hey, Steve.
Yeah.
I missed the first 5 minutes of class. Did you say um not to share your KW app from. So on my phone, I got my KW command is the red app, and then I have the customer one, the white one. We do not share our app from the white one, the consumer one. We need to share it from the actual command app.
Yes,
Is
that
that
is my
correct?
suggestion. Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Sounds
And I did at the beginning of the class show everybody how to find that link in their computer as well, and a QR code as well. So this will be posted on, I believe, Monday next week, so that you guys can go back to the video on my YouTube channel and watch this again or pick up anything you might have missed.
okay.
All righty,
Sounds
y'all.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all for hanging out for an extra couple of minutes to share those ahas and questions. We're going to wrap up today. I'm going to stop the recording. Bye, YouTube.